kilometres west. A grim find sparks a murder probe at the National Zoo. The major airlines and supermarkets in a price war ahead of Christmas. And an injury hit Bailey Smith issues a promise to the Bulldogs.
Live from Melbourne, 7 News with Rebecca Maddern.
Good evening. Thousands of Melbourne motorists have been caught up in protest mayhem, with demonstrators using shock new tactics to shut down roads. Police were forced to step in and use power tools to end the peak hour standoff.
Screams of a protester being forcibly removed. Met with no sympathy from workers caught in traffic chaos.
Really annoying and a bit pissed off, actually, to tell you the truth.
Lorimer Street was closed for hours from early this morning, creating a ripple effect of traffic delays.
Everyone else here is trying to get to their jobs, but you bananas are stopping them.
One pair stuck their hands in a storage drum. A woman appeared to use cement to attach herself to a car with deflated tyres.
Self-release is going to be in your best interest, because I don't use these tools every day. I'd rather you be safer.
Police resorted to using an angle grinder to free her. There were heated verbal clashes with bystanders.
Look what you've done. Look what you've done.
And with police.
You're just gonna say, move back, and then once that happens, you move back again.
The group targeted entrances at two Port Melbourne workplaces, an aerospace engineering company and the Department of Defence, claiming goods from the site are aiding Israel.
We are the ones making the weapons, giving them the intelligence to do this.
It's now mid-morning and traffic is still at a standstill for kilometres around this scene. It's taken officers here about an hour to remove this protester from the back of the car. What are you hoping to achieve this morning? Is that the best way to get your message across?
All roads were reopened just after midday.
Nearly more than 1 hour and a half. Yeah, 1 hour and a half, which is no good for the business and is not benefit to anyone.
And Emma O'Sullivan has the fallout. Hello, Emma. Protesters are promising there's more disruption to come.
Beck, the protesters say they're from a group called Disrupt War, and they say they feel compelled to keep bringing attention to their cause, even if the message is lost on drivers finishing errands before Christmas. Today, 9 protesters locked themselves to vehicles or objects. They were all charged with public nuisance and obstructing the roadway. And Beck, all were granted bail to face court at a later date.
Thank you, Emma. Queensland is in the grip of a flood emergency tonight, with the army called in to help evacuate entire towns. Residents are stranded on rooftops with drinking water running out, the airport flooded and roads ripped to shreds.
Ellis Beach, north of Cairns. They are seeing volumes of water not thought possible. The after effects of Jasper, a cyclone that might not have brought much wind, but unprecedented rain.
Yeah, definitely. I've never seen it raging like this before.
And not just the amount of water, but the speed it is moving.
At a pace that we have not seen before.
The SES says it's been overwhelmed. 1,000 calls for help, 300 rescues. Here, water levels top the first floor, some rivers recording their highest peaks since records began.
What the was that?
And almost all done by boat. The rain too torrential, the clouds too low for aircraft.
The visibility for our pilots is down to 0.
Homes have been ruined, the cost unknown, and all this just days before Christmas.
The Christmas tree, everything's just under.
One family of 5 lost the lot.
When the water started coming up through the floor, everything was getting wet.
Cairns is all but cut off, broad brown water as far as the eye can see. The airport shut down, runways submerged and aircraft abandoned. Dozens of cars too, but it could reopen as early as tomorrow.
Far North Queenslanders know how to deal with natural disasters, but this one is, this level of rainfall is next level.
Authorities begging people not to do this and instead stay indoors, or at Degarra and Bloomfield, the roof.
Being on the roof at the moment is the safest location for these people.
This is the main street of Mossman, awash. Road damage everywhere, in some places looking more like an earthquake has hit, not floods.
There will be months of repair work to be done.
Livestock lost too, but they saved one here. In Ingham, residents reminded of the dangers. It's not just water levels, but what lurks beneath, like crocodiles.
You would recall from past events we've found sharks, crocs, you name it.
15 kilometres inland at the Aramo pub, they're making do.
It's literally just a bucket list item. People want to tick it off their list and say we went to the Mo in a boat.
It's the pub with no pier. You just tie up the tinny to the front bar. The newly waterfront watering hole where the beer flows as fast as the water's outside. Chris Reason, 7 News.
In breaking news, a driver has been killed in a fiery smash near Bendigo as Victoria's shocking road toll rises. The victim's car collided with a truck on the Calder Alternative Highway at Lockwood South. The impact so severe it caused the truck to roll and the sedan to burst into flames. The truckie is in hospital with minor injuries. 51 more people have died on the state's roads this year than at the same time in 2022. Innocent patrons have been caught up in a wild brawl at a pub in Melbourne's west. More than a dozen men were involved as an afternoon watching sport turned violence.
Pubgoers out to watch fighting on the big screen left shocked when they got a live shot. The wild brawl lasted 5 minutes with around 15 people involved. It spilled out of the Ashley Hotel in Braybrook, punches thrown thick and fast. A Sunday session watching UFC turned ugly and dangerous for patrons and staff, some who tried to intervene. The behaviour condemned by martial arts experts.
It's a certain group, a minority of people that do that, and just if they're in coaching and training, they would be taught by their coaches to have discipline and respect and that they shouldn't enter into those sort of bouts.
Pub management declined an interview, but 7 News understands the brawl caused some damage. No staff were injured. Witnesses say the two groups watched the event in peace for 2 hours before something sparked the violence, which only ended when police arrived. Detectives are investigating, but so far, no arrests have been made.
I don't like seeing that because on face level you go, oh look, they're all hooligans who watch UFC, but that's not true.
Sarah Jane Bell, 7 News.
A murder probe is underway at Canberra Zoo after the discovery of a female worker's body.
Witnesses have described loud screams from around the commercial kitchen area, but at this stage it looks like she's been stabbed to death with a knife.
The victim's 29-year-old co-worker was arrested at the scene and taken to hospital under police guard. The zoo was evacuated and closed for the remainder of the day. The industrial umpire will step in to resolve an ugly pay fight between the state government and firefighters. The Fair Work Commission decision will act as a test case for other workers involved in public service disputes.
A powerful force in the air. Victoria's aerial fleet is ready for bushfire season, but there's one fire it can't put out.
What we have is a fire crisis.
The Firefighters Union has escalated its pay fight after 9 months of failed negotiations. New laws mean the Fair Work Commission will now make the final call.
This government has deteriorated the fire service to the point where 50% of their frontline appliances should be off the road.
It's the first case of its kind, and the result could drastically change the future of workplace bargaining, paving the way for higher wage claims.
We did make an offer. The union determined that that offer was not something that they were willing to put to the membership.
That offer was a 12% pay rise over 4 years. The union wants 25% over 3 and better protection.
I'm concerned about not only the summer, I'm concerned about all year round.
The government confident the standoff won't compromise community safety.
I have no doubt that firefighters across the state stand ready to do what they always do, put their lives on the line.
The government is fighting pay battles on multiple fronts, still in protracted negotiations with the Police Association, V-Line, public servants, emergency call taker staff and the latest group, school cleaners.
Well, it speaks itself, doesn't it?
Beth and Yeoman, 7 News.
Dandenong Council has hit out at the Allen government a day after a toddler was killed while attempting to cross Stud Road. The local mayor says they've been calling for a safer pedestrian crossing for years, but don't feel the state government shares its sense of urgency. The council is pleading with the Roads Minister to fund the project as a matter of urgency. The Department of Transport say it will work with Victoria Police. An attempt to flee police has come to a crashing end for an armed man and woman in Southbank. A gun was found as officers pounced moments after the collision.
A dangerous discovery hidden in a bag, a gun, after a stolen car tried to dodge police and ended up crashing.
You just heard like a big boom.
Officers spotted the Nissan just after 9 this morning in Paran. A man and woman on board, a dog too, but they wouldn't pull over. The driver tried to squeeze between a car and truck driving on Kavanagh Street in Southbank.
All three collided at the same time.
It hit the truck from behind.
I didn't really feel much. I heard the bang was a lot louder than what I felt in the truck.
The Nissan's airbags went off and it stopped nearby. The man driving didn't want to stick around.
He was trying to get out, but he was struggling to open the door.
And he was trying to climb out of the window.
I saw the perpetrator get out of the car, took a big bag out, tried to run away, and then the cops tackled him.
He only would have made 10 steps before he was told to lay down on the road.
And he did?
He did pretty quickly.
The woman was easier to catch. When police arrived, she was still in the passenger seat, her dog with her.
She was stuck, I guess. She couldn't get out. I just heard her screaming, but that's it.
What was she screaming?
Oh my God, oh my God.
His partner was trying to get out of the window. Some police already around the car, restraining her and telling her to stop.
The cops pulled her out.
The pair, aged 39 and 40, is being questioned. Paul Dowsley, 7 News.
A grain truck has caused a day of traffic disruptions after it jackknifed and crashed in Footscray around 3:40 this morning. Authorities have been working to right the vehicle, which remains stuck on its side tonight. Part of the trailer broke through the safety barrier, tipping the load from the overpass onto the railway lines below. The live stream of the Bruce Lehrmann defamation trial was suspended late today because of concerns for the mental health of a key witness. Earlier, the trial heard a media veteran admit his staff could have dug deeper into Brittany Higgins' allegations.
Network 10's former news boss Peter Meakin worked on the project's Brittany Higgins program, today agreeing the government's response before it aired contradicted her claim her job was on the line if she went to police. Asked about the show's line,
"A young woman forced to choose between her career and the pursuit of justice."
The only inference I can draw is that we're believing her story more than the government's. Did you think it worth going back to Higgins? I don't recall advising anyone to do it. In retrospect, would it have been a good idea? Well, it wouldn't have done any harm. In retrospect, we could have done a lot of things. But I think producer Angus Llewellyn did a good job. Lehrmann wasn't named, but Meakin says he knew the project was going further than an online article, including details about where he'd worked. You knew many more people would be able to identify Mr. Lehrmann from those additional facts. No, I didn't know that. It was pretty obvious, wasn't it? Not to me it wasn't. We did take advice on how far we could go without identifying Mr. Lehrmann. Higgins' friend, Queensland State MP Sam O'Connor, says she told him of the alleged assault a few days later. I absolutely remember the word rape. That's not something you forget. In a special move, the court sitting late this evening to hear from Higgins' former boss, then Ministerial Chief of Staff Fiona Brown, who had previously asked to not give evidence on medical grounds, agreeing it was her notes in 2019 the government used to refute part of Brittany Higgins' account of what happened. The trial continues. Paul Caddack, 7 News.
A new report has identified serious flaws in our defence sector, calling for it to be scaled up in case of conflict in the Indo-Pacific. The research also suggests we're too reliant on overseas industries.
This is particularly important because adaptation, improvisation and battle damage repair in wartime will have to rest on locally available industry.
The federal government argues it's already investing record amounts and is promising to lay out detailed plans for the industry early next year. The Matildas are waltzing back to Melbourne with an Olympic qualifier locked in at Marvel Stadium. Tickets went on sale at midday with tens of thousands of seats already snapped up.
Home sweet home for the Matildas, checking out their Bundoora base ahead of next year's blockbuster Olympic qualifier.
Still kind of like a pinch me moment that we're able to sell out stadiums and be a hot property.
I think it's going to be an amazing atmosphere and it just keeps getting better.
Off the back, play at Marvel Stadium on the 28th of February in a final Olympic qualifier against Uzbekistan.
This is a big game for the Matildas, but also a big game for us in Melbourne and Victoria.
A win will secure their spot at the Paris 2024 Olympics. Tickets went on sale at midday. 17,000 sold in the first hour.
$35 for adults, $20 for juniors. We want to make sure that we're looking to bring our participants but also new fans. They inspire young boys and girls to be their very best, which is why I think the tickets will sell like hotcakes.
Earlier this year, a record-breaking 50,000 fans watched the Matildas defeat France in a World Cup warm-up match here at Marvel Stadium. In February, they'll be playing for a lot more.
The crowd is our 12th person and they spur us along, and we want to do them proud and our families proud and you know, the nation.
Melina Saris, 7 News.
Well, Bailey Smith has broken his silence on a season-shattering injury. Tim Watson, he'll be on his best behaviour this festive period.
That's right, Beck. He's heading in for surgery tomorrow. Chief football reporter Mitch Cleary caught up with him today, and Smith has made a pledge to the Bulldogs, Mitch.
Well, Tim, he's promised to be on the best teammate possible in the next 12 months out of the game, which started immediately today, already into the Bulldogs gym before he goes under the knife tomorrow morning. Smith desperate to be on his best behaviour and out of the headlines over the next fortnight.
Do my rehab as well as I can and do all the right things and, you know, be good on New Year's, no drinking, etc. Just be a good boy and look after it because, yeah, it's really motivated to come back bigger and better. And
his future is also set to become a hot topic with his next Bulldogs contract expiring at the end of 2024. We'll get his take on what's next in sport. Tim?
Thanks, Mitch. We'll hear from you again soon. Also ahead, the Aussies with a chance to put their feet up with one star eyeing more records. There's a new leader in the Premier League and Beck, a 5-year streak is over. More shortly in sport.
Great work. Thank you very much, Tim. Well, a former Mr Australia can now add convicted criminal to his lengthy resume. Up next, the multi-millionaire bodybuilder's spectacular fall from grace. Also ahead on 7 News, how Qantas and Virgin plan to win over customers for Christmas. See the moment a road trip turned messy on the Monash Freeway. Later, the booming IV drip industry that's promising to cure everything from headaches to hangovers.
And I'll have your first official look at the Christmas Day forecast coming up later on 7 News.
Toyota Prado towing a caravan jackknifed on the Monash Freeway this morning, blocking 2 lanes of traffic. The crash left the caravan on its side and the car resting on a single wheel. It appears everyone was okay. A former Mr Australia bodybuilder turned millionaire businessman has been jailed for more than 17 years in a dramatic fall from grace. He was caught running a meth lab while attending rehab inside a former brothel.
At the helm of a $40 million supplements chain, champion bodybuilder Luke McNally was on top of the world.
We've pushed on to 43 stores now.
Until he led undercover police straight to his secret meth lab at the facility where he was in rehab. The 43-year-old was today jailed for more than 17 years for trading drugs out of the former Daily Planet brothel turned drug treatment centre at a second hidden lab in Wallen. No stranger to illicit substances, the former firefighter was taking steroids while bodybuilding before turning to harder drugs. McNally penned a letter to the judge saying he was coerced into trafficking. She rejected the claim, saying he was clearly motivated by money and had recruited 2 others trying to beat their drug addictions. You were prepared to traffic from the very place you were bailed for rehabilitation. You displayed absolute contempt for the court process. The court heard the former entrepreneur had become a mentor and a model prisoner behind bars, but his chances of returning to his former self were moderate at best. Co-accused Wayne Doble was jailed for over 5 years for his role in setting up the lab. Rochelle Brown, 7 News.
Victoria's Supreme Court is set to confirm details on the pending release of convicted terrorist Abdul Benbrika tomorrow. Federal Attorney General Mark Dreyfus has applied for a 3-year extended supervision order. Benbrika has served 15 years in jail for plotting to blow up major landmarks in Melbourne and Sydney, including the MCG. The ultimate Christmas gift is up for grabs tomorrow night with Oz Lotto jackpotting to $70 million. It's the biggest Oz Lotto prize in more than 4 years, with no Division 1 winners in the past 8 draws. 1 in 5 Australians are expected to buy a ticket. The draw closes at 8:30. Australia's airlines are promising to do better. After revelations, 40% of passengers have experienced delayed or cancelled flights. Qantas is leading the charge, unveiling a team of new cabin crew members.
The fresh new faces of the Flying Kangaroos flying family. 16 new international cabin crew taking to the skies, some in a matter of days.
Japan, yes.
You know when?
In 2 days' time, I believe.
I'm so excited. I'm trying really hard not to get emotional.
It's all hands on deck for the airline as it braces for the busy holiday travel period, expected to be the biggest since 2019.
It doesn't matter what part of the airline we're working in, we are absolutely focused on making Christmas great.
The ultimate test after a turbulent year for airlines and their passengers. A survey by consumer group Choice revealing 40% had a flight cancelled or delayed this year, and more than half weren't given a reason for the disruption.
We're making sure that the operation can deliver on the schedule.
The new cabin crew members do have a big task ahead of them as the faces of our national carrier working to rebuild trust and restore its reputation.
The brand has taken a hit, a big hit in the last few months, but also Qantas needs to recognise this is just one step in the customer journey.
Though there is good news for Qantas. The latest data is expected to reveal Virgin Australia has claimed the unwanted crown of most cancellations last month. Apologising to passengers, we acknowledge that our performance was below our standards in November. Our teams will be working hard to get everyone where they need to go these holidays. Amber Laidler, 7 News.
ABBA's 3D virtual tour appears bound for Melbourne. Executives are reportedly scouting locations to bring the Take a Chance show that's taken London by storm here.
Look, we don't believe anything until the deal is signed. We know how these things operate, but certainly Visit Victoria has been in there strongly and been in there for a period of time.
If signed off, it will come with an $80 million price tag. Melbourne families are cashing in on millions in Medicare refunds. Details next. Also ahead, how dirt bike coons are running riot and targeting innocent drivers in our northern suburbs. The major supermarkets locked in a price war in the race to Christmas. An 18-wheeler crushed in a level crossing disaster. And uncovering the secrets of the Titanic at a special new exhibition in Melbourne. Drivers mounted the curb of the Broadmeadows police station in a desperate bid to flee brazen dirt bike riders. Police say the victim had been harassed by the unregistered riders, forcing him to veer onto oncoming traffic into Coolaroo earlier this month.
They were baiting drivers and one of them responded. The fact that they were prepared to follow someone to a police station shows of their just poor regard for community safety.
The riders are still on the run. The supermarket wars are heating up a week out from Christmas as families scout for bargains to ease cost of living pressures. Prices are dropping on some festive favourites, but overall shopping bills are likely to be much higher than last year.
There are just 7 sleeps left.
Merry Christmas, everybody!
And if you're hosting a Christmas meal,
there's a lot of people that aren't going to be able to afford a very good Christmas lunch.
The annual price battle on festive favourites has ramped up in supermarkets. The best Coles bargains are in bakery, spruiking a 50% saving on its luxury Christmas pudding.
We also have our traditional puddings down to $5. The incredibly popular gingerbread decorating house
It was $16.50, now down to just $10.
Woolworths fresh whole turkeys are $9 a kilo. Pork prices are also down.
There's some great ways to save across a number of different proteins.
For the almost 30% of Australians who plan to eat seafood on Christmas Day, there are no promotions at Aldi, but it promises its consistent low prices. 1 kilo of tiger prawns will set you back $27.
It's staples like potatoes and dairy, as well as summer fruits, where shoppers might need to think twice, with consumer experts warning prices will be higher than this time last year.
Prices are trending upwards. It's about pre-planning, looking online, and that you're ready to avoid all the other marketing and all the other specials that are going to be in your face at that time of the year.
Sarah Jones, 7 News.
55,000 Australians have shared in $12 million from Medicare after updating their details on the MyGov app. The stockpile of unclaimed benefits has been building for years because customers didn't have their bank details registered. There's more cash to be claimed, with 1 million people owed a total of $230 million. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza is worsening by the day, with aid trucks being intercepted by desperate civilians. Israel is ignoring international pressure to scale back its operation as more Western governments call for a ceasefire.
The scramble for something to eat and drink in Gaza. Aid trucks now crossing the border with masked men on top, armed with sticks. But in the chaos, a load can be lost. Here, scattered boxes of bottled water become an instant target. Aid agencies say the food and water is being consumed on the spot as Gazans fight off hunger. Half the population is said to be starving. As Palestinians searched another home reduced to rubble for any survivors from Israel's latest bombardments, the IDF took international reporters to what it says is Hamas's largest tunnel.
Without demolishing the tunnel project of Hamas, we cannot demolish Hamas.
3 metres wide in parts, 4 kilometres long, apparently designed to transport Hamas fighters closer to Israel.
Looks like an innocent children's room.
Another tunnel said to have been found beneath a child's cot. The UK, France and Germany have now joined Western calls for various versions of a ceasefire. The US is expected to apply further diplomatic pressure this week. At a meeting of his cabinet, Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel would fight to the end, remaining defiant. In London, Hugh Whitfield, 7 News.
A train has slammed into a semi-trailer, forcing 17 rail cars from the tracks in Texas.
Oh my God.
It's understood the 18-wheeler became stuck while crossing the tracks. The conductor suffered minor injuries. Patients from the Vatican Children's Hospital have joined the Pope in celebrating his 87th birthday. They helped the pontiff blow out the candle on his cake, also presenting him with a bouquet of sunflowers as families sang happy birthday in his honour. Pope Francis used the occasion to speak about the importance of preparing for Christmas. Taking a look at finance now, the ASX 200 has closed down 16 points. Tabcorp was the big improver, up 23%, while Santos and ResMed both slipped. One Australian dollar is currently buying 67.15 US cents. A new Titanic exhibition has sailed into Melbourne, giving visitors a chance to see what it was like on board. The collection showcases items once owned by passengers, which were recovered from the ocean floor.
With a boarding pass in hand, you can step inside the luxury ocean liner, 110 years after it sank to the bottom of the North Atlantic Sea.
The artifacts here are all authentic. So everything that you see here is recovered from the seabed, from the debris field of the wreck site of Titanic.
The Titanic exhibition opens at the Melbourne Museum tomorrow, promising an experience just like it was on board.
There is just nothing like seeing the actual things from the ship that people held, that people lost.
The exhibition has visited 30 different countries and has been seen by 35 million people. There's even an Australian connection.
As more time goes on,
more is uncovered, and this exhibition tells the story of a number of Australian travellers.
Including stewardess Evelyn Marsden. She survived because she learnt to row on the Murray River.
She had learned rowing from this family friend, and this skill set that she learned helped because she was able to save the lives of 40 passengers that were in the lifeboat with her.
It's an immersive experience. You can even touch an iceberg to feel how cold the water was that fateful night at minus 2.2 degrees. Melina Saras, 7 News.
Health authorities are warning against a booming new medical craze that's promising instant help for headaches and hangovers. Also ahead, how police foiled a wild chase across Melbourne's southeast. An inside look at new high-tech help making sure our deliveries arrive on time. And Wangaratta's cat burglar caught in the act. A wild police chase through Melbourne's southeast has come to a crashing end in Albert Park. Officers were called to intercept a car being driven erratically in the city around 2:30 this morning. The police air wing tracked the Toyota across the Westgate and Monash freeways before it was involved in a crash in the Burnley Tunnel. The 17-year-old driver has been charged. Health authorities are warning against the rise of a booming health trend that's promising everything from a vitamin boost to help for hangovers. IV therapy is controversial, but clients are paying hundreds of dollars for it.
It's the health trend sweeping Australia. IV therapy, intravenous health and beauty treatments, claiming to boost how clients look and feel.
Immune and cognitive functioning, maintaining good weight parameters, a reduction in stress and anxiety.
By the pool, in the lounge room or at a clinic, clients are forking out hundreds of dollars to get their boost, so-called vital vitamins injected straight into the bloodstream.
We can bypass the digestive system, allowing an absorption rate of up to 99%.
But some medical professionals question whether they really work.
At best, it may be a placebo. At worst, there's significant adverse effects that you can get from getting IV drips unnecessarily.
The Australian Health Practitioners Regulation Agency issuing a warning online. IV infusions are an invasive procedure with inherent health and safety risks.
Overdoses, infections, clots in the vein, all these sorts of really significant adverse effects are there.
But providers claim their patients are benefiting.
The benefits definitely outweigh any risk there might be.
The Therapeutic Goods Administration declined an interview but insists IV drips must be formally registered before use here in Australia. Any business found making misleading or unfounded claims can be penalised.
If it sounds too good to be true, then you can pretty much count on it is too good to be true, and whatever is being offered is false.
Grace Fitzgibbon, 7 News.
Freight companies are calling last chance for online shoppers to order tonight or risk missing the Christmas cut-off. They're using new delivery technology to help customers beat the deadline.
Putting one of the many Santa's workshops to the test, Allied Express Bankstown. A week from Christmas, the mission, deliver me.
This is my box. Usually require a bit of styrofoam, but my delivery driver is going to take very good care of me.
I begin on an AI-generated conveyor belt. The computer tells the parcel exactly where to go, each tray a different suburb. Then, with help from a professional physio, the humans get involved. The Christmas cargo heaved onto dozens of trucks. I am just one of thousands of parcels being processed through this warehouse today. Christmas is huge, but remarkably, Black Friday was bigger.
The volumes that we saw a couple of weeks after the sales, much bigger than Christmas so far.
Still, you'd want to get in quick if you're an online shopper.
Our cut-off for Christmas Day on an overnight service is today, so you need to be shipping by today.
The hot ticket items this year, not news reporters, homewares, but some have peculiar taste.
Hello Lisa, Tom Saker from 7 News.
Christmas trees this way.
Tom Saker, 7 News.
Some of Victoria's sickest children received an early Christmas surprise today as Carlton stars delivered presents at the Monash Children's Hospital.
Having the experience of having us come in, that impact, but also just getting an early Christmas present, I think gets everyone more excited.
I actually went out and bought this present myself. Merry Christmas.
I hope you like it.
Wow. I love it so much.
Awesome, that's great to hear. It'll be a great start to sign up for that Carlton membership with some of those pencils.
The ruckman says he's even managed to convert a few patients to join the Navy Blues. The ultimate cat burglar has been caught in the act. A family in Wangaratta set up a camera on their back patio to find out who kept stealing their shoes. They were shocked to find the culprit was, in fact, a feline with a footwear fetish. The tabby making off with 7 shoes in all, its owner now promising to give them back. Tim Watson is back with sport now. Nathan Lyon has Shane Warne in his sights.
He does, Beck. The humble hero has reached a magical milestone with more to come. Up next, the Aussies head home for some R&R and we'll speak to the Aussie skipper. Bailey Smith's promise to the Bulldogs, why he won't be sulking in the corner at Whitten Oval. We meet the bartender, about to become a new footy superstar, and the streak is over for Warriors star Steph Curry. Welcome back. Bailey Smith is determined to help shape the Bulldogs' season next year despite heading in for knee surgery. The star midfielder set to remain in the spotlight with his future a hot topic at Whitten Oval.
His dazzling pre-season brought to a crashing halt, but Bailey Smith won't let his ACL define him.
It's obviously frustrating, but there's problems and then there's like real problems, real world problems, so put it into perspective as well as you can and get on with things.
Even 24 hours before surgery, Smith stopped by for a boxing and weight session and pledged a daily 12-month commitment to teammates.
Hopefully inspire a few of the boys who don't feel it when they get into train and they see me in a full sweat each day. Hopefully that can spur them on a bit, and that's sort of my motivation, is to try and have a positive impact on others.
The 23-year-old joins Jamari Ugle-Hagan and Tim English in the Bulldogs contract crunch. Hawthorn, Geelong and Collingwood among clubs already circling as decision time looms.
When do you sort of expect to have to think about your future, given it's going to be a big decision for you?
Once I get training and stuff, I think that's when we'll start to properly put the mind to it. But right now I'm just sort of going through the motions with the knee and just trying to get in a good headspace.
On field, skipper Marcus Bontempelli back with the main group this morning, but Rory Lobb left the session early with knee soreness. The Dogs showing off a new look. Top 10 pick Riley Sanders seen as a round 1 lock. Mitch Cleary, 7 News.
An AFLW star in the making could be going from the pub to the club of her dreams. 18-year-old Christy Lee Weston Turner has been touted as the top pick at tonight's draft.
On weekends away from the footy field, you'll find Christy Lee Weston Turner here, behind the bar at Bacchus Marsh's Courthouse Hotel, but an AFLW career beckons.
I don't know, there's a lot of hype around pick number 1, but I'm just there to play footy and I'm just there to get a jumper on my back and get my name on a list.
A Bulldogs fan since birth, the Dogs hold pick 1 at tonight's draft.
I'll cry. Oh, sorry. Just be so proud of her.
Weston Turner is an athletic forward with an impressive highlights reel. She spent most of this year recovering from a fractured wrist, but has worked her way back and could link up with Bulldogs legend Chris Grant again, who's previously coached the talented team.
Yeah, he's coached me. He knows me on a personal level. He knows my family at a personal level. So, yeah, it's pretty amazing.
After decades of being involved in local footy, Mum Martha is looking forward to seeing her daughter become the breadwinner in the family.
Somebody needs to put me in a nice nursing home and get my hair and nails done once a month, so yeah, I've got to leave it up to her.
Laura Spurway, 7 News.
Test captain Pat Cummins says there's nothing holding Nathan Lyon back from becoming Australia's leading wicket taker. The Aussies have returned to their home states for a few days off before regrouping here in Melbourne for the Boxing Day test.
Back home a little earlier than expected after a convincing win in the West. A few days of R&R before Boxing Day awaits.
Any time at home is precious, and we've got about 3 days, I think, at home to be around family, and then we'll head down to Melbourne.
From the groundsman to the greatest, Nathan Lyon joined cricket royalty last night.
The old Lion roars for the 500th time in Test cricket.
Just the third Australian player behind Shane Warne and Glenn McGrath to reach 500 Test wickets.
Pat didn't want to review it. I was quietly confident that I would hit leg, hoping that was all.
Very quietly confident.
And in the same over,
Got him. He's got 501.
Pat Cummins confident there's plenty more to come for the 36-year-old.
I still think you've got, say, 40, 50 test matches. That's 4 or 5 years, 10 a year. Probably average, 4 a game? It's another couple hundred, 700. Leggy? Yeah, Warnie, yeah.
Obviously, there's been a lot of hard work go into the journey, and I've had a lot more bad days than good days, but to be out there in the middle back after doing my calf with a special group of people, yeah, it's pretty special.
Mitch Marsh awarded Player of the Match, but the magical moment came after giving his medal to a young fan.
Bit of home time, maybe get to the Rottnest for a quiet beer or two, and then back to work in Melbourne.
Marnus Labuschagne declaring he will be out there come Boxing Day despite an injury scare to his finger.
It's going to have to take something pretty serious, I reckon, to have me miss a game.
Kate Massey, 7 News.
Arsenal is back on top of the Premier League with a 2-0 win over Brighton.
And Havertz makes it 2-0, and that may just seal things here for Arsenal.
Liverpool missed a golden chance to remain on top, held to a scoreless draw by Manchester United. Aston Villa continues its surprise title bid after a 2-1 win over Brentford, while Sam Kerr and Chelsea head into the new year on top of the Women's Super League, 3-0 winners over Bristol City. And Steph Curry turned provider on court today as a 5-year streak came to an end. It's the first time in 268 games the Warriors superstar hasn't hit a three-pointer. He was none from 8. The Golden State still managed a 4-point win over Portland. And Beck, everyone's entitled to have an off day.
They are. Hasn't he shot 3,505?
Just off the top of your head.
Just off the top of my head, gee, I'm good.
You're a genius, you are.
Thank you very much, Tim. No, thank you, Tim. All right, Sonia Marinelli is here with the weather details. Son, this is exciting. You have the Christmas Day forecast.
It has just dropped, Beck, and it is looking good. Cooler than average, but nice and settled. Stay tuned. I'll have the details next. Hello again. Your Christmas Day forecast is here and it is looking good. It's going to be cooler than average but relatively settled with only the slight chance of a shower. So depending on your plans, it's not too bad. Unlike today, which was warm but cloudy. We started the day on a low of 16, reaching 26 degrees. It could have gone higher, but the temperature was held back by the lack of sunshine under a streak of mid-level cloud. 27 was the warmest it got around the suburbs. Tonight, we are tracking a cold change. It moves through the city later, dialing back the temperature as a southerly wind takes hold. The cloud band is extending in from South Australia, streaming in ahead of tonight's change. There's been the odd shower underneath, but most of this you see here on the radar evaporated before reaching the ground. And that change should reach the southwest in the next couple of hours, hitting the city around midnight, but nothing too dramatic, not much in the way of wind or showers with this one. We will be waking to a cooler day tomorrow, especially across southern Victoria, and it comes with a very light band of showers. Here in the city, the temperature does bounce back to the mid-20s, but it's a milder 21 degrees for both your Christmas Eve and your Christmas Day. The odd shower around, but not our coldest Christmas Day. That was 14 degrees back in 2006. OK, around the nation tomorrow, it is still wet and unstable through parts of Queensland and New South Wales. There'll be showers moving through Adelaide, while Perth is warm and windy. Here tomorrow, cloudy with isolated showers during the morning, contracting eastwards by the afternoon. And we may see some thunderstorms firing up in the north and east later on. So we're expecting another cloudy day around the suburbs with most of the showers during the morning and early afternoon. South to southwesterly winds between 20 and 40 kilometres an hour, so factor in the wind chill. The city reaching for 18 degrees, windy with a shower or two clearing. Looking ahead, and the cloud lingers on Wednesday. It's 19, but we're a lot warmer by Thursday, 24 and mostly sunny. Friday, 26 and mostly sunny, 26 on Saturday, but turning cloudy again. A light shower, a top of 21 for Christmas Eve, and generally dry Christmas Day, 21 as well. So that is not a bad forecast, a Christmas miracle, I say.
Oh, yeah, it's Melbourne. I mean, it could be worse.
It could be worse.
Thank you very much, Son. Now here's what's on Sunrise in the Morning.
Thank you, team. Well, tomorrow on Sunrise, the realities of life without cash. Predictions that Melbourne will become a cashless society in as little as 2 years. What does it mean for you?
Plus, we have your official Christmas forecast, a complete look at the week's weather ahead of your long weekend.
See you in the morning.
And that is 7 News for this Monday. Thank you very much for your company. For now, from the 7 News team, please take care and good night.
It's 21 degrees.
Stream 7 News anytime, live and on demand on 7 Plus, and with 7news.com.au, you'll know the news now.
This is The Force. Tonight,